Have you ever watched a movie that made you question your thoughts or reflect on your deepest emotions? Psychology movies have a unique way of diving into the complexities of the human mind. These films explore not only what we think, but also why we think that way, how we process emotions, and what drives our behaviors. By focusing on mental health, emotional struggles, and intricate relationships, psychology movies provide a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Several films brought these psychological themes to life in gripping, unforgettable ways. Let's dive into the top 10 must-see psychology movies that will challenge your mind and make you think long after the credits roll. Movie 1. The Father. The Father takes us on a heart-wrenching journey into the mind of an elderly man suffering from dementia. Anthony Hopkins plays the role of a man slowly losing his grip on reality as his memory fades and his perception of the world around him becomes disjointed. The film provides a striking representation of how aging affects the mind and distorts one's sense of identity. One of the most powerful aspects of The Father is how it portrays memory loss from the patient's point of view. As the audience, you experience the confusion, fear, and frustration that comes with not recognizing familiar faces or recalling key events. This creates a strong emotional connection and highlights the devastating effects of dementia, not only on the individual, but also on their loved ones. Through its clever storytelling and powerful performances, The Father encourages us to reflect on the fragility of the human mind and how our memories shape our sense of self. It raises important questions about reality, identity, and the emotional toll of aging. This film is a must-see for anyone looking to understand the complexities of memory loss and mental health in the elderly. Movie 2. The Mauritanian. The Mauritanian is based on the true story of Mohamedou Ould Slahi, who was held in Guantanamo Bay without charge for years. This film delves deep into the psychological effects of long-term imprisonment and torture, showing the mental resilience required to survive such extreme conditions. It exposes the traumatic impact that confinement and abuse have on the human psyche. Throughout the movie, the psychological toll on Slahi is evident as he navigates the physical and emotional scars left by his time in captivity. The film explores themes of trauma, survival, and hope, even in the most hopeless situations. It raises ethical questions about justice and human rights, while also highlighting the enduring strength of the mind in the face of adversity. The Mauritanian is a powerful film that sheds light on the psychological cost of torture and wrongful imprisonment. It offers viewers a deeper understanding of how trauma affects mental health and emphasizes the importance of mental resilience. Watching this movie will make you question the boundaries of justice and the mental strength required to survive unimaginable circumstances. Movie 3. Stowaway, Stowaway is a psychological thriller that places its characters in a life-or-death situation aboard a spaceship bound for Mars. When an unexpected passenger is discovered, the crew faces the grim reality that their limited resources won't support all of them. The film explores the psychological impact of isolation, ethical dilemmas, and the pressures of making impossible decisions. As the crew grapples with the harsh reality of their situation, the film highlights the mental strain of knowing that one life must be sacrificed for the survival of others. The stress of isolation in space adds another layer of psychological tension, pushing each character to their emotional limits. The film forces viewers to think about what they would do in such a high-stakes scenario and how far they'd go to save themselves or others. Stowaway challenges us to consider the psychological effects of extreme environments and the moral weight of life-or-death decisions. It offers a gripping portrayal of human behavior under pressure and how isolation can amplify fear, guilt, and desperation. This film is a thought-provoking look at the ethical and psychological complexities of survival in unforgiving circumstances. Movie 4. Malcolm and Marie. Malcolm and Marie is an intense relationship drama that delves deep into the complexities of communication, ego, and unresolved emotions. Set over the course of one night, the film revolves around a couple's heated argument that escalates into a raw and emotional exploration of their relationship. Through their dialogue, we see the psychological dynamics of love, resentment, and vulnerability. At its core, Malcolm and Marie is a psychological examination of how personal insecurities and emotional baggage can erode a relationship. The film highlights the psychological effects of harsh criticism, narcissism, and the toxic cycle of arguing without resolution. Each character's emotional wounds are exposed, showing how past experiences shape their current behavior and interactions with each other. Movie 5, 9 Days. 9 Days presents a unique, philosophical approach to the human psyche by exploring the journey of souls before they are born. The film follows a man who interviews souls for the chance to experience life on Earth, highlighting deep psychological and existential themes. It forces viewers to ponder the meaning of life, the nature of human emotions, and the choices we make. Through the process of selecting which souls are worthy of life, the film explores questions about purpose, self-worth, and the value of existence. Each soul brings its own emotional depth, offering a psychological reflection on the desires and fears that drive us as humans. The film encourages introspection, asking us to think about what makes life meaningful and how we confront the inevitable challenges that come with it. 9 Days is a deeply moving exploration of existential psychology, focusing on themes of life, death, and the human experience. Its thought-provoking narrative compels viewers to reflect on their own lives and what they value most. This film stands out for its emotional depth and its ability to connect the audience with the psychological essence of existence. Movie 6, Land tells the story of a woman who retreats to the wilderness to escape the pain of a personal tragedy. The film captures the psychological journey of grief, healing, and survival as the protagonist learns to cope with isolation and rebuild her sense of self. It's a powerful depiction of how nature and solitude can provide a space for emotional recovery. The psychological impact of grief is at the heart of this film, with the protagonist grappling with intense feelings of loss and hopelessness. As she confronts the harsh realities of living in isolation, Land showcases the stages of healing, illustrating how people can find solace in solitude and nature. The film also explores themes of resilience as the character fights to survive both physically and emotionally. Land serves as a meditation on the psychological effects of trauma and the slow, often painful process of healing. It offers a moving portrayal of how people can rebuild themselves after loss, finding strength in the most unlikely places. This film provides a profound look at the relationship between mental health and the natural world, making it a must-see for those interested in the psychology of grief and recovery. Movie 7, The Night House. The Night House is a psychological horror film that delves into the mind of a grieving widow who begins to experience eerie occurrences in her home after her husband's death. The movie explores the psychological effects of grief, depression, and how the mind processes trauma, blending supernatural elements with a deep emotional core. As the protagonist uncovers unsettling truths, the film taps into the subconscious fears that often accompany loss. The psychological complexity of the film lies in its ability to blur the line between reality and illusion. The main character's emotional state becomes increasingly unstable as she confronts her darkest fears and unresolved feelings about her husband. The film's tension builds as it forces the audience to question what is real and what is a manifestation of her mind, making it an intense psychological thriller. The Night House is a chilling exploration of how unresolved emotions and grief can haunt a person. It's a powerful depiction of the mind's ability to create terrifying illusions when faced with intense emotional pain. This movie is perfect for viewers who appreciate psychological horror that delves into the dark recesses of the human mind. Movie 8, I Care a Lot, I Care a Lot is a dark comedy that delves into the psychological traits of manipulation, greed, and power dynamics. The film centers around a con artist who takes advantage of elderly people by becoming their legal guardian and then exploiting their assets. The main character's sociopathic tendencies and lack of empathy drive the plot, making it a fascinating exploration of narcissism and moral corruption. The psychological tension in I Care a Lot comes from the character's manipulative interactions, particularly how the protagonist outsmarts her opponents and justifies her immoral actions. The film offers a glimpse into the mind of someone who thrives on control and deception, revealing the cold, calculated thought processes behind her actions. It raises important questions about ethics and the dark side of human ambition. Movie 9, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Spider-Man: No Way Home may be a superhero film, but it dives deep into psychological themes such as identity, guilt, and the burden of responsibility. In this installment, Peter Parker faces the consequences of his dual life as Spider-Man, struggling with the moral dilemmas that arise from his actions and the impact they have on those around him. The film explores how fame, power, and responsibility can take a toll on a young mind. The psychological depth in No Way Home comes from Peter's internal conflict as he grapples with his desire for a normal life versus the responsibility he bears as a hero. The weight of his decisions affects not only himself, but also the people he loves, creating an emotional struggle between self-sacrifice and personal happiness. The film also touches on themes of redemption, as Peter is forced to confront his past mistakes. This movie offers a unique look at the psychological challenges faced by a hero and how they mirror real-life struggles of identity and moral responsibility. For fans of psychological narratives that deal with inner conflict, Spider-Man: No Way Home delivers a thoughtful exploration of the mind beneath the mask. Movie 10. The Guilty. The Guilty is an intense psychological thriller that follows a 911 operator dealing with a high-stakes emergency call. The entire film takes place in real time, heightening the psychological tension as the protagonist struggles with feelings of guilt, stress, and emotional turmoil while trying to save a life over the phone. The film offers a compelling look at how the mind reacts under pressure. As the call unfolds, the operator's mental state begins to unravel, and the film reveals layers of personal guilt tied to his past. The stress of the situation pushes him to his breaking point, forcing him to confront his own mistakes while trying to maintain control. The audience is taken on a psychological journey that explores themes of redemption, guilt, and the overwhelming pressure of responsibility. The Guilty is a masterclass in building psychological tension, showing how stress can warp judgment and decision-making. It offers an intense real-time look at how crisis situations can push people to their mental limits. For viewers fascinated by how the mind deals with guilt and stress, this film is a must-watch. These films offer powerful insights into human psychology, exploring themes like trauma, identity, and emotional resilience. Watching them provides a deeper understanding of how our minds shape our actions and responses. Don't miss out on these top 10 movies of 2021. Watch, reflect, and see how they resonate with your own experiences. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more content exploring the psychology behind films. Let us know which movie impacted you the most.